Have you ever noticed this cycle? You feel lonely, so you fap. And after you fap, you feel even more lonely. It's the trap almost every man falls into, but almost none of them see, because loneliness doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in, quiet, slow, heavy. You sit in your room, scrolling, waiting for something to make you feel alive again, and in that moment, that empty, uncomfortable moment, you reach for the fastest escape you know. But here's the truth nobody tells you. PMO doesn't relieve loneliness. It creates it. It steals your desire to connect. It kills your drive. It drains the very energy that would have pushed you out into the world. And the more you escape into fake comfort, the further you drift from real connection, real purpose, real life. Loneliness isn't your enemy. The cycle is. And today, we're going to break it. For good. Here's what most men never realize. Loneliness doesn't just happen because you're alone. It happens because you've spent years training your brain to avoid real life. Every time you felt empty, uncomfortable, or unwanted, you escaped into a screen. You replaced human connection with pixels. You replaced purpose with pleasure. You replaced potential with numbness. And the brain learns fast. It learns that when you feel low, you run. When you feel anxious, you hide. When you feel lonely, you sedate. That's how the loop forms. You withdraw from the world. You get lonely. You get lonely. You PMO. You PMO. You drain your energy, your confidence, your social drive. You drain your social drive. You avoid people even more. You avoid people. You get even more lonely, and the cycle repeats. This is why loneliness gets worse over time, not better. Not because something is wrong with you, but because PMO disconnects you from the very things that cure loneliness: purpose, movement, connection, courage, life. You're not lonely because you're unworthy. You're lonely because every time your soul asked for connection, you gave it a shortcut instead. But shortcuts always take something from you. And the longer you stay in the loop, the harder it becomes to see a way out. But there is a way out, and it starts with understanding what loneliness really is and what it's trying to tell you. Most men misunderstand loneliness completely. They think loneliness means I have no one. But that's not true. Loneliness means I'm disconnected from myself. It's the emptiness that appears when your life stops moving forward, when your energy is drained, when your purpose is gone, when your confidence has collapsed. Loneliness isn't a lack of people, it's a lack of you. Because think about it. There were times in your life when you were surrounded by people, yet you still felt alone. And there were times you were physically alone, but you felt powerful, focused, and alive. So loneliness was never about others. It's about your state. When you're deep into PMO, your state collapses. Your dopamine is shot. Your motivation is flatlined. Your energy is gone. Your self-respect is zero. Your purpose feels distant. Your mind becomes numb. And when you feel like that, even if people are around, you don't engage, you don't connect, you don't speak up, you don't reach out. Because deep down, you don't feel like you have anything to offer. You feel invisible, not because others ignore you, but because you've disappeared from your own life. That's why loneliness hurts so much. It's not the absence of others, it's the absence of your own fire. But here's the truth, no one tells you. Loneliness is not your enemy. Loneliness is your warning signal. It's your mind saying, you're living below your potential. You're hiding from life. You're not proud of who you are right now. You've abandoned your own mission. Loneliness isn't here to break you. It's here to wake you, to push you out of the cycle, to pull you back into life, to remind you that you're meant for more than this numb, silent existence. Loneliness is the doorway. Semen retention is how you walk through it. Here's the part most people won't tell you, because it's the part that makes 90% of men quit. When you start semen retention, your loneliness doesn't disappear. It intensifies. Not because you're getting weaker, but because you're finally removing the anesthesia. For years, PMO has been your emotional painkiller. You felt bored. You escaped. You felt empty. You escaped. You felt lonely, you escaped. You felt stressed, you escaped. PMO numbed you every single time life demanded strength. So the moment you stop releasing, your brain doesn't know what to do. All the feelings you buried suddenly rise to the surface. The emptiness, the boredom, the anxiety, the restlessness, the loneliness. And this is where most men break. Not because retention is impossible, but because for the first time, they're actually meeting themselves. Raw, undistracted, unmedicated. You've probably felt it. That heavy silence in your room, the urge to grab your phone, the sudden spike of emotion that feels like something is missing. That's withdrawal, but not from semen, from escape. You're not addicted to pleasure, you're addicted to avoiding discomfort. When you remove PMO, the truth hits hard. You were never running from porn. You were running from your own mind. And here's the twist most men never understand. That loneliness you feel during retention, it's actually healing. It's your emotional system rebooting. It's your dopamine recalibrating. It's your confidence rebuilding from the inside out. You're not broken. You're detoxing. Your brain is learning how to feel again without instant stimulation. You're reclaiming the emotional capacity that PMO stole from you. This is why the early stages of retention feel lonely, because for the first time in years, you're sitting with your real emotions instead of running from them, and this is where warriors are forged. The men who can sit with discomfort become unstoppable. The men who can face their loneliness without escaping become powerful. The men who can feel everything without breaking become the men the world feels when they walk into a room. Retention doesn't make you lonely. It reveals the loneliness that was already there, so you can finally destroy it at the root. This is the trap almost every man is stuck in, and most don't even realize it. You think you're lonely because you're isolated, because you don't have friends around, because women don't notice you, because life feels slow and empty. But that's not the real cause. The truth is brutal. You're lonely because PMO killed your ability to connect. And here's how the cycle actually works. 1. You feel lonely. That emptiness hits. You don't know what to do with it. 2. You run to PMO for comfort. For a few minutes, you feel something. Your brain gets flooded with dopamine. You get a fake sense of intimacy. 3. The moment it ends, the loneliness gets worse. Your dopamine crashes. Your self-respect drops. Your brain becomes even less sensitive to real connection. Now you feel emptier than before. 4. Because you feel worse, you seek PMO again. Not for pleasure, but to escape the crash. You don't masturbate because you're horny. You masturbate because you're hurting. And here's the sick twist. PMO is the cause and the cure of the pain it creates. It's like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. But it doesn't stop there. PMO slowly destroys the parts of you that make real connection possible. It kills your social drive. You become comfortable being alone, not by choice, but by sedation. It destroys your confidence. Every relapse whispers, "You're weak." It kills your masculinity. Your posture collapses. Your voice softens. Your energy dissolves. It wipes out your emotional bandwidth. Conversations feel draining. Socializing feels awkward. Women feel intimidating. Your brain doesn't want real humans. It wants the instant, easy, fake version. The worse you feel, the more you escape. The more you escape, the worse you feel. That's the cycle. And here's the truth most men never discover. Loneliness isn't the problem. Your escape is. When you stop running, your ability to connect comes back online. But you need to break the cycle from both ends. Stop the escape. Stop numbing the loneliness. And rebuild connection. Not with people, not yet first. Rebuild connection with yourself. Because PMO didn't just disconnect you from the world, it disconnected you from your own strength, your own purpose, your own fire. Break the cycle, and the loneliness that once controlled you becomes fuel. Once you understand this, everything changes. When you stop using PMO to escape loneliness, something strange happens. At first, it feels raw, uncomfortable, almost painful. Because for the first time in years, you're actually feeling again, but stay with it, because this is where the strongest men are forged. Most guys think the opposite of loneliness is company, friends, relationships, attention. It's not. The opposite of loneliness is self-connection, a stronger bond with your own mind, body, and purpose. And when you stay off PMO long enough, that connection comes back to life. Here's what actually happens. 1. Your emotional numbness fades. You start to feel human again. PMO disconnects you from your emotions. It flattens everything: joy, curiosity, drive, ambition, the absence of all that feels like loneliness. But when you stop escaping, your emotional range slowly returns. You start feeling alive again. 2. Your confidence begins to rebuild itself from the inside, not fake swagger, not forced bravado, real confidence. The kind that comes from keeping promises to yourself, from facing discomfort instead of running from it, from choosing strength when weakness calls your name. That's the confidence people can feel before you even speak. 3. Your social drive naturally wakes up. This is the part that surprises most men. When you stop draining your dopamine and testosterone, your brain starts craving real connection again, not screens, not fantasies, not quick hits. Real humans, real conversations, real presence. You start wanting to talk to people, to move, to build, to experience life outside your room. And that's when your loneliness flips from a prison into a compass. 4. You stop needing people, and that's why they come to you. When PMO controlled your mind, you felt needy, and people sensed it. But when you're grounded, centered, connected to yourself, needy energy disappears. You stop chasing validation. You stop forcing social interaction. You stop trying to impress women. Your presence becomes calm, warm, solid, and people, men and women, start gravitating toward you, not because you chase them, but because you no longer need them. This is the paradox. When you are no longer lonely within yourself, you become magnetic to everyone else. 5. Loneliness turns into solitude, and solitude turns into power. Loneliness is painful. Solitude is fuel. Loneliness drains you. Solitude builds you. Loneliness is escape. Solitude is creation. When you break the PMO cycle, your alone time becomes the foundation of your strength. You think deeply, you train harder, you build your goals, you sharpen your identity, you transform in silence. And the world feels that transformation. Every room you walk into, every conversation, every interaction. People respond to the power you've built when nobody was watching. This is why your loneliness matters. If you numb it, you stay weak. If you face it, you become unbeatable. You're not meant to run from the empty moments, you're meant to use them. Loneliness isn't a curse. It's the doorway to becoming the man you're supposed to be. Loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a pattern, a trigger, a loop. And if you don't break the loop, you'll keep running back to the same escape. So here's the plan. Simple, brutal, effective. Follow this, and the cycle cannot survive. Step 1. Identify your lonely hours. Every man has a pattern. For some, it's late at night. For others, early morning. For others, weekends. Your lonely hour equals your relapse hour. Write it down. Don't overthink it. Awareness is the first kill shot, because once you know when loneliness hits, you can prepare for it like a warrior preparing for ambush. Step 2. Build your anti-loneliness routine before the loneliness hits. Most men try to fight their urges in the moment. Too late. When loneliness kicks in, your brain is already begging for dopamine. Logic is useless. Instead, you must preload structure into that window. Examples: cold shower at the exact time you usually relapse. Walk outside for 15 minutes. Journal for 5 minutes. Breath work, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Push-ups until your body wakes up. Go work in a cafe instead of staying home alone. The routine doesn't matter. The consistency does make the lonely hour predictable, structured, and physical. Step 3. Replace your emotional escape with emotional expression. This is where most men fail. PMO is not a sexual habit. It's an emotional escape. You think you're horny, but really you're anxious, bored, stressed, or lonely. So, instead of escaping, you learn to express. Write one sentence. What am I feeling right now? Speak out loud. I'm lonely, but that's okay. Let yourself breathe through the discomfort, because emotional presence kills emotional cravings. When you face the feeling instead of numbing it, the urge loses 80% of its power instantly. Step 4. Rebuild dopamine systems. Loneliness feels 10 times worse when your dopamine is fried. If you want to break the cycle, you need stable dopamine. Daily foundations. Sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. High-protein meals to stabilize mood. Cold exposure to reset dopamine pathways. Strength training to boost testosterone. No phone in bed. This one alone prevents most relapses. Loneliness becomes unbearable only when you have no energy, no drive, and no momentum. Fix your dopamine. Loneliness loses its teeth. Step 5. Create your lonely projects. If you have nothing to do when you're alone, your brain will return to the old pattern. So you need lonely projects, missions that grow you in silence. These can be learning a new language, writing a book or journal, building a side hustle, studying a high-income skill, reading self-mastery books, training your body, meditating to sharpen focus. These are not distractions, they're identity builders. Because the moment you start building something meaningful, PMO stops feeling rewarding. Your brain begins craving progress more than pleasure. Step 6. Build a social baseline. You don't fight loneliness by isolating yourself. You fight it by choosing connection, not chasing it. Simple weekly rules. Talk to one new person per week. Spend time around humans, gym, cafe, library. Stay in environments with social energy. Don't force deep friendship. Let it form naturally. This stops loneliness from growing into desperation. Your baseline becomes healthy, not needy. Step 7. Spiritualize your solitude. This is where the transformation becomes real. Solitude isn't empty. It's a sacred space where a man finds himself. When you stop running from it, you begin to think deeper, see your life clearly, hear your real values, strengthen your self-respect, feel connected to something higher than urges. Your alone time becomes your strongest time. Step 8. Lock in a bigger mission. The men who succeed on semen retention aren't just avoiding relapse. They're absorbed by something bigger, a mission, a purpose, a goal that consumes them. When you're building something powerful, loneliness becomes irrelevant. You don't need PMO, you don't need validation, you don't need escape. You're too busy creating. And that's when you know the cycle is broken. If you made it here, you already know the truth. Loneliness isn't your enemy. Running from it is. You break the cycle the moment you stop escaping and start building. So here's your challenge. Tonight, when the loneliness hits, don't run. Feel it, face it, transform it. If you're ready to break the loop for good, drop a sword in the comments so I know you're a man who actually finishes what he starts. And if this message hits something inside you, subscribe, join the brotherhood, because every week we rise stronger, sharper, more disciplined. This journey isn't just about quitting a habit. It's about reclaiming the man you were meant to be. Stay strong, stay sharp, unleash your warrior.